What that day started out as Tyson's dream ended as our nightmare because that night Tyson got loose in Providence and he was with his new adopter Louie, shaking, and he slipped his leash and he was wandering around the streets in Providence. And all I can think of is that he was probably looking for his friends back home at the shelter. He got picked up, he got clipped by a car, he got picked up by Providence Animal Control, driven into Massachusetts, and killed in the back of Providence Animal Control's van. We got called at 7:30 the next morning by the adopter, and within 24 hours we had 300 missing dog flyers out there. We had volunteers out in the streets in areas that I've never thought I'd find myself. And we went day and night looking for a dog that we never knew was already dead. It was a Sunday. We're leaving the project in Providence, looking for Tyson with his rubber chicken squeaking through the doors. And we followed a Providence Animal Control van to Providence Animal Shelter. That animal control officer was Michael DeSano. We banged on that van with pictures of Tyson saying, "Have you seen our dog?" He wouldn't even roll down the window for us. And I banged on that door with that flyer in my hands and said, "Have you seen our dog?" And he rolled down the window a little bit and said, "Do you know how many of those dogs I see every day? Nope, haven't seen that dog. Come back tomorrow when we're open." And we said, wait a minute, we got more pictures of him. And he didn't care. And now I know today that probably Tyson was in the back of that van dead. It went on for 3 or 4 more days when we took days out of work doing what we do, looking for the animal that we loved and cared for. And we called in animal communicators, we called in volunteers up from other organizations like Defenders of Animals. We pulled out all the shots, and at 7:30 one morning, it was my cell phone on the lost dog flyer. My phone rang, and he said, "I think I had your dog in the back of my yard on Admiral Street in Providence on August 28th. Did you get your dog back?" And I said, "What?" And right then and there, we knew that Providence Animal Control had picked up Tyson. And Nancy and Audrey, I said, "You guys can't go to work today. I need you to go to Providence Animal Control." Armed with hundreds of pictures, because we took Tyson everywhere to cookouts and family events, Dunkin' Donuts rides, wherever Tyson was with us. And we cornered Dave Holden, Sharon Arnold, Michael DeSano of Providence Animal Control and said, "Have you seen this dog?" And they said, "No." Again, do you know how many of those dogs we see every day? And I don't care. That dog was not just one of those dogs. He was a dog that was loved, cared for, and missed. And again, they sat there interrogating these animal control officers for a good 45 minutes before someone got off their seat and walked back out into their freezer and said, "I think we have your dog." And that's when we went back there and pulled out Tyson's frozen, cold, lonely body. And we found our Tyson. I then called Providence Animal Control and said, "I'm sending my animal control officers out to bring our boy home." And they said, "No, you're not. He can't cross state lines." I said, "You brought him to Massachusetts to kill him, and now you won't let him back home." And they said, "No." I said, "I'm sending my vet out. I'm having a necropsy done. I want our boy home." And they said, "Your dog had parvo. We killed him." And Tyson didn't have parvo. Tyson was killed because he was one of those dogs. He was a pit bull. They killed 22 of them in July with a parvo case where they tested one, and Tyson became another statistic. And they thought that they messed with a dog that didn't have a voice. And just like everybody here stands up for dogs and animals, cats, animals, and the like, Tyson has a voice. And we're a pretty loud voice. And we brought Tyson home. We picked up Tyson in a trash bag. And I said I wanted to have Final Gift come out and have him privately cremated. And they said, oops, sorry, we just threw him in the crematory. And I picked up Tyson in a bag, a white trash bag, and he still sits in my closet today in that same trash bag. And it looked like somebody had gone to the beach and collected seashells. And that's where Tyson sits. He's back home. And we filed a lawsuit against Providence Animal Control, 12 counts against them, and it'll be a year next week. And I run Tyson's Facebook page, RIP.Tyson, and we're close to 3,000 voices strong. And still, a year later, Tyson's voice is still being heard. We had a vigil for him when this first happened, with close to 200 people there. We had a protest in Providence. And it's all about people like us, the everyday person who has their own jobs and responsibilities, who are willing to drop everything for the sake of an animal. And that's what we all do. So I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of an animal that can no longer speak, because that's what we do. We continue to pass on the message and be a voice for the ones who cannot speak. And this one's for you, Tyson. We love you. And Dennis gave me this poem to read. And it says, for every animal needlessly tossed out due to irresponsible ownership, human cruelty, or neglect, for every animal that waits in its cage for someone to choose it to come home with them, and for every animal that was never chosen.